Hi everyone. Hello. Hi everyone. Hello. Hiya. Hi people, how's your week been? Yes! There's Jane, there's Jane, there's Jane. Okay, people, without further ado, let me not waste Jane's time. Let me bring her up ASAP. Hi, 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 hi. I'm too excited to see her. Hang on. Wait, though, how am I going to add you? Ha. Wait, though. Why am I... Hang on. Wait, though. Why does this always happen to me every time? Jane, can you send me a request? Or how do I send you a request? I don't even know how to do it. My stuff is not working. There you go. I can't wait for you to come online. Hi everyone. Hi. How has your week
I was laughing. Why can't you figure it out?
Oh my god!
So good to see you.
Oh my goodness, Jane, is this you?
It's me, live and direct.
Oh my goodness, I am so... Oh wow.
So finally we get to see it, but now it's virtually.
I know, right? Oh my, it's been how many years? I am so hug.
It's
I am
how many years?
Oh my goodness.
It's almost 10 years. It's almost 10 years now, isn't it?
I cannot
I
remember.
think so.
Oh
I think
my,
so.
you look
I
awesome. You
think
look
so.
amazing. And you look
Thank you.
fabulous.
You know, I've been following you. I'm like, where did she get those magnetic eyelashes? Then I go Google in the back.
As in, you can see them, Abby.
They look fly.
I know, right? Just go to Amazon. You will see it. It's as in ever since I got it.
I saw so many now. I'm confused. I'm like, which one should I get? Which one did she get?
Don't worry.
But yeah,
I will just bring Carmen,
yeah.
and then I will just see something. Let me tell you something else I just got. I have always wanted to get, an ear hole in my earlobe, but I never did it because a friend of mine did it and she said she fainted. So me being delivered. I just
Oh my God.
ear cuff. What do you think? Where did you go my ear
So you're
cuff?
going, oh yeah, I can see you already have it.
No, I didn't do the ear. No, I bought a cuff. It was an ear cuff, so I can remove
Okay.
it. No, I can't
Yeah,
be
because
venting anyhow.
I was gonna say this days you don't even need to do that.
No.
Like
It's just
people
like
can
ear cuff.
hook
So I just
you up.
inserted it and then I'll just remove it. So it just looks fly. All the things I always wanted to do that I haven't been able to do, I am doing now.
I think that's the good thing about COVID. I think COVID has forced people to really look inwards, push their fears aside, and do those things they never dared to do. Because now people just want to live life to the fullest. You're not trying to please anyone. Because you find out at the root of it, like life is just simple. Like all those extras we were putting didn't really matter.
It didn't really
Those things
matter.
are not important. So it's really what is within you that you feel like this is it and this is me, and what inspires you and what will profit you and profit those around you. So
Honestly,
it's really changed the way we see life. It has.
It is. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to see you. Now, I
Same
know you are
here.
a very busy woman, as per. You see, there are plenty of questions I want to ask you today. Plenty.
By the way, let me tell you, I said I was going to tell you this. You have taken my daughter's math class. This time I'm talking to you is my daughter's math class.
Oh, people, please
But it's
show her
okay.
some love
I
because we
think,
took
my
her daughter's
daughter
math
is not
class.
an easy girl. You people saw the letter she wrote me last week. She was going to resign from her church from Washington, and she didn't want to do, she just wants to do laundry, and she was going to find me a replacement, which I don't know where she's going to get this replacement from. So, yeah, so I have to ask her nicely that,
We will not write letter. We do have a choice. They will, that part of your employment letter that it says any other job as suitable, any other duties, they will keep piling that, they'll be piling the job and everything. But we apologize that we've taken this time. People, please help me show her some love because we have
Please,
just
oh,
taken.
Caroline, my dear, thank you. Please, we will have to share her some love. If not, I'll have to explain to her her 1 hour that
Please,
I have
oh,
taken.
please, people show her some love. Now, why do you always have to keep begging you and begging you and begging you? Show her some love, or can they not hear us?
Oh my
Can you just,
God.
please screenshot it so that I can show her that we have evidence that we have a
Oh
good
yes, I'm
reason.
going to
Please.
do that. I'll be like, see, everybody asked me nicely that, oops, what did I do?
Don't worry, don't worry. I have somebody that's taking a screenshot, so she will take the screenshot and send it to me. Don't worry, we have evidence
That's good. So
and
that Sarah
everything.
will have the receipts and she would understand.
Please, I'm so sorry, but we are here today. It's amazing to see you. Like I
Yeah.
said, I mean, this is our tech month, so thank you for starting our tech month with us, and we're talking about how to use technology to, further enhance our businesses and everything. But remember, this is like a very casual session. As you can see, we are gisting, so it's not the no, we're not doing all the
Yeah.
normal. We don't have time for all that. Like you said, life is too short. Let's just have fun. So there are questions I want to ask you, but I mean, people are going to probably sift whatever they need from what you're saying. But me, I have my own questions to ask. Number one, fashion. Please tell them you came to Matwin, that I am not just talking, that you came to Matwin.
So I think that was in
That was
20,
ages ago. I can't even remember when.
2011. Yeah,
No,
2011,
you
because I just
couldn't
had
have been
my daughter. I
2011.
remember I just had my daughter. So I was about to start a startup. It was a retail startup for a maternity line. We were going to mass produce, we were going to retail. But like everything, when you want to do it, you want to do it well. And the only way to do it well is to get schooled in it. I don't even know how I found your school, but I did know that I found your school. And it was a wonderful 3 months I spent. I learned the basics of fashion,
People say you can hear.
fashion
Say you can hear. Say you can
designing.
hear. Say you
And
can hear.
actually, I still even worked with some of the students. My illustrations for the first line was done by one of the students and all. So it really helped me because one of the things I had a problem initially, because as an engineer, you're thinking product solutions,
Engineer, wow.
problems, create a product solution. But there was a language barrier. So I would go to my factories in India. We weren't speaking the same language. They were calling things I didn't know, like, no, the gum stick. I'm like, what is gum stick? Then what's the length of? They were just throwing things at me. I didn't know what the language was. And I thought about it, the only way is to understand what they're saying, then I could really explain to them what we are trying to do. Because we were going, it was so bad in China, it was even worse. Now we had an underlying problem, they didn't even speak English. Now this is India, we speak English, but the vocabulary was different. They were using all these technical terms and I didn't understand what they were talking about. So, but after I did go to the school, so I could really have a meaningful discussion. When we talked about fabrics, it was a matter of, no, this fabric, for what we are trying to do, we need stretch. So we need this amount of, so we were then using the same language and we're having meaningful discussions. So I still have all the things. I still have my, I think once in a while I play around with it, because I learned how to do pattern making, and that really helped because it became clear to me that the first thing I should ask you is that where's the pattern? Did you do the pattern? Because if you do the pattern, then we can scale. We can have different sizes once we are sure we've locked down the pattern. And if we do the pattern, then it's just a matter of rolling it out, mass production. So those are the kind of things I really learned to do, and those are the things I took away, and it was really beneficial. But I still don't sew. I can sew with that, but not.
Neither do I. I don't sew, But it's
Yeah.
quite interesting. So you went from fashion. I mean, I just heard you did engineering. So that's even another story for another day because of course
Yeah.
the time is very short on this live. So from I know you relocated to Ghana at some
Yeah.
point, and then we've been keeping in touch. So I see you, I don't see you, I see you, I see So that, and that's the beauty about technology, the fact that you can actually follow people without actually seeing
Yeah.
them and stuff like that. So after
Exactly.
you do that, after you did that, I think you had to stop Mama at that point in time. Please tell me
Yeah.
what happened between them, because one of the questions I wanted to ask, which I even asked you when I saw your LinkedIn conversation, see, Let me tell you, that's your article, the fire it has burnt in me. Do you know people have started checking me out on LinkedIn again? Because of that
Wow.
article, I started taking LinkedIn a bit more seriously.
Yeah,
Because,
that is
there was
so
always a
good.
transition between I can't speak like this on LinkedIn. I have to look prim
Yeah.
and proper, wear suit and everything. So that article that you told me and how you got poached by, well, I don't know if you were poached, but how you got approached by Facebook, to me, what is very instrumental, because we're talking about technology and how technology can not only enhance your business, but also you as a person. So if you can just, just give us like a quick, for people who do not know that, I've always had the impression that LinkedIn was just for professionals and stuff. And I still think it is. But, you were able to leverage LinkedIn. You were able to create, there was obviously for them to have approached you to become the head of sales for Facebook and everything. To me, is just incredible. And then let us now, go through the journey of how you, settle into Facebook and realize that Facebook actually has tools for small businesses, because a lot of people watching this are actually fashion people, but we do have some people that are not in the fashion industry. So I just want to jumble everything up. It's not like the typical,
Okay. So
okay, question
I
and
will
answer
start.
session. No.
Okay, I will start about the social media part, then I'll talk about also, for small businesses, because I actually started using social media or Facebook way before I joined Facebook. So we'll talk about that experience. So each of the platform has its own variant in terms of the language and how you present yourself. So Facebook is like more family oriented. So pretend you're a family gathering. That's how you would gist. Instagram, because it's picture driven, is more like you're trying to sell yourself. So you're going to do that with pictures and videos. While LinkedIn is a more professional circle. And LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a career person. Because think about it, if I'm an angel investor, I'll go look up your business. If I want to invest in your business, if I'm trying to give your business an award. So even for business owners and entrepreneurs, LinkedIn is key. These days, I search for startups on LinkedIn for different things, which I do. I have different roles I play. We go and validate startups on LinkedIn. We want to see their presence, what they're doing, connect it back to their website, because that's our own way of validating a lot of things we are trying to do with them. So these platforms play different roles. It's not only for professionals. But what I would say to people that want to use is that the first thing to do is to first define your strategy. Think about internet or social media like just when TV came. There's a huge amount of people that because they didn't understand it thought it was bad. No, TV is bad. Don't look at TV. You spend your whole day, even when we're kids, like you spend your whole day watching TV, lazy child. But other people learned by watching TV. Like my husband would say, some people knew half the world without traveling from watching TV programs, understanding geography, countries, culture, context by watching, TV. And that's how these platforms are. They give you what you want. So first of all, you have to define your strategy. Like, what do I want to achieve? Am I going there to be visible? And it's not a bad thing. As a business owner, you want to be visible. Remember, if you're looking for funding, if you're looking for investors, you have to be visible. How will they see you? The same thing as an individual. You want, you want a promotion, or you want to change career, you want to grow your career, you want to change companies. How do we find it? Because the world is a global village. So you define, am I going there to network? Because some people actually come to network. You're trying to connect with other people that might have valuable information, insight, or just reach out and spread your connections to, other countries, other industries. Define what your strategy is. It will also define how you would be on that platform. So if I'm going there to network, I'm reading people's comments. If I see something that strikes, hey, I like to connect to that person, I'll send them a chat or a DM and say, hi, my name is Jane. I saw the comment you posted on, tech to be used as this. I thought it was interesting. I would like to know more. Do you have a free
You
time?
just
Meet
gave me
up
an
on a Zoom
idea. Me, I
call.
just comment on that comment too. Now I should be going to the DM to
Oh
drink
yes,
and
I
say
have the
fabulous.
people. See, last year I was promoting my book. 90% of the podcast I was on. That's how I met the people.
Wow.
90%. Even when I got the interview with Facebook, I didn't know how to interview with them because they approached me. I just reached out to people on LinkedIn. I say, hey, I see you have a connection to LinkedIn, to Facebook. Do you want to chat? I want to chat about whatever. And of course, some people would not answer. Some people will answer, but you do get people that would actually answer because I respond to my LinkedIn messages. So there are people that actually answer. So I used to have what I used to do, like mostly last year, was have a virtual coffee. I call them virtual coffee, and I try to have one a week. Look for some interesting person. It could be a comment, an article I read, somebody's video I watched. You send them a message. Hey, if you have time, I think we should catch up. I loved what you did about this. And people, and half of these people I connected with were all over the world. No one was even, maybe yes, some people in Nigeria, but most of them were like India, Australia, all kinds of places. And that's what this platform affords you to do. So, like we've said, you first define your strategy. And when you're there, the content you will create. So you might decide to be a content creator or a content or consume content or do both. I do both. I create content because it also gives me visibility, because I want to, present myself as a thought leader in my field. And the only way to do that is to tell you what I know. If I tell you what I know about my field, you tend to understand my depth of knowledge, or you tend to understand whatever message I'm preaching about, because I'm always talking about something. It could be things that I'm passionate about, or things about my field I think people should know, or people should consider, or I want people in my industry to be aware of. So you define what you want to do in terms of, do you want to create content? And consuming content means you just check out other people's feeds, you read, you watch videos. And I do that a lot. Like when I'm my downtime, I want to educate myself. I look for topics that I thought, oh, this topic I want to, read about or check. I look for people that write on it or do videos on it. I literally learned how to use LinkedIn by following a lady, Share. I keep saying it, just ask Share. She does a weekly live on Thursdays, and she will give you tips. So there are people like that doing all kinds of things on this platform. So it actually can be used immensely. If I'm, lacking in an area, I'm like, oh, I want to figure out how to do this, or I need to know more about this topic. I just start looking for who is either a thought leader there and follow them, or who is talking about it. And that's how you also educate yourself. So if you want to consume content, is fine. The third thing I would say is that try and engage. Don't be a spectator. Engage. And once you engage, you get more value. People get to also engage with you. And the platform also makes you more visible. Remember that this is a platform too, that they're looking for people to come and make the platform active. So once you engaging could mean things like liking, commenting, resharing, all those things are forms of engagement. So those are ways you engage on the platform, that the platform also helps promote what you're trying to do. So I always say, if you're in this platform, try and engage. Because engagement to me is like being in a conversation and not saying anything. You add no value. But when you're in a place, think about it, you go to your grandma's place, everybody's talking about something which you really know, and you keep quiet. Nobody hears your thought and nobody hears your perspective. But once you share that, people hear your thoughts and your perspective, people get to understand you better as well. So that's why it's also good to engage, especially for people in the career field as well, and even for companies or entrepreneurs. That's the way people understand your brand. Because if you put up things about your brand, about what you're doing, about fashion, you're writing things or making videos, people will ask, when did you do this? How did you do this? How did you start this? Is this the best fabric to use? Is this the best place to run this? Where do you mass produce? If you ignore them, it's like a customer service agent picking a call and not responding. So I think it's important that you engage. You respond as a company. You actually should respond. So that's what I'll also say, that always engage. So you don't have to create content. Not everybody has the bandwidth, but if you consume, try at least to engage.
Awesome. Okay, so you got found on Facebook through LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, yeah. You got found by Facebook on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn.
And then when you took the job, let's understand your role, as in what exactly your role is in Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And all, because at the end of the day, before you talk about LinkedIn and Facebook watches this thing by mistake and say, "Stop! Why is Jane talking about LinkedIn?"
No, I don't think Facebook. Facebook definitely not like that. But at the end, it's all social media platforms. So it could be LinkedIn, Twitter. Like, people find jobs anywhere. Like I've done. I wrote in that article, I remodeled my house on Instagram. Like literally 90% of all the contractors I use, the person I bought my bathroom shelf from to the person I bought the mattress, that did the bed sheet, the interior decor person, even to the POP guy. It's all, I found them all on Instagram. Like you become a good shopper after a while. And it was also for convenience. Then they would, you don't have to bother going to the market, especially if you're busy. And I do other things then, even to find teachers for my kids. So people will be shocked. All these platforms have their value. You just have to make good use of it. But back to the question. So I was headhunted. So it was almost one of those things that by the time the headhunter approaches you, he's read half your articles. He's telling you more about yourself and you're shocked. Like, did you read that article that I wrote? So that's why I tell people, decide what your strategy is, because people are watching, people are reading, people are consuming what you're creating. You leave a footprint behind, so be deliberate or intentional about the footprint you leave, because people are actually observing. So of course they approached me, and that's how, after a couple of interviews and all that, I got the job. But the job I do in Facebook is to manage, I'm in charge of sales for medium-sized businesses. So we have people that do multinational, like companies like Unilever that will have 20 branches all over, 100 branches all over the world. They are managed differently because you normally will manage them from the headquarters. Then, we manage all other, other businesses like individual businesses, Pan-African businesses, even businesses that are across Middle East and Africa, because you have businesses that will have branches across Middle East and Africa. So my team manages the sales for all that. And I am in charge of that, the region for Middle East and Africa. So that's basically what I do. So unfortunately, there's so many clients, and like every other business, when it's too much, you have to then segment and decide. You definitely want to give attention to those that will give you money or that are giving you money.
Normal.
So somebody might be giving you 5 naira, but you might not be able to give them that attention as someone that's giving you 50,000 naira. So businesses that are really investing on the platform need to be given attention, and that's what my team does.
Okay.
We give them attention.
Okay, so now the general thing, or the general, I wouldn't say it's not a misconception, because I use Facebook. I mean, like my ebooks, ever since I registered for a Facebook course and I discovered I wouldn't even say I know a lot, but the little I discovered, my goodness, the thing has transformed the whole thing. So the question now is, a lot of people just think advertising on Facebook is a waste of time. Right? And I keep telling them, no, it's because you don't know what you're doing. You understand? And because I didn't know what I was doing, that was why I was wasting a lot of money and everything. But lately, the question is, algorithms keep changing. And sometimes it seems to look, it appears that it is against people like us that don't have the millions to spend. That's number one. So it's an issue for a lot of us that have very limited funds. And then number two, how best can we leverage Facebook? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. I realized that my Facebook page is almost non-existent. I post the same thing I post on Instagram on Facebook, but the visibility is not really the same. I get a bit more engagement on Instagram, and I feel, Facebook only kind of gives you time if you spend on an advert, but I don't really want to spend on an advert for every single thing I post. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. So for me, the question now is, how do we best take advantage of the Facebook platform as someone that doesn't really have a huge funds to sell? Or is there a mistake we're making, or what exactly? I mean, how can you in a few minutes decode what Facebook has for small businesses?
That's a very loaded question, but we will stick it to the basics. I think
pick one from whichever.
Let me bring it back to the basics. Someone said they're not hearing us at the back. So the basics is try not to focus too much on the algorithm, because you can even define the algorithm. Remember that algorithm is like an AI machine that is learning. It's taking information and it's learning. Just this whole week, what is raving is the fact that David gets his own emoji on Twitter. I don't think he went asking Twitter, can you give me an emoji? He generated so much traffic on the platform. They saw his relevance that they thought the only way to anchor him, let's give this guy an emoji so he doesn't leave our platform. And that's how this platform works. So it's like chasing after money. You will not get it. But if you create value, then you get the money. So the way it is with this platform, if you create value, so you might have even 10 users. Because you're creating value, you are so important to them. They don't want to lose you. They are the ones looking for people to show your content. But there are basic rules, and basic rules are content, the quality of your content. If the pictures are not sharp or not good quality, they are definitely, nobody will want to promote something that is smudgy or what. So if you do good quality pictures, make sure your videos are good quality. Number one, you even notice that it will catch attention. And you can tell if you do a good quality picture on Instagram, then you just took one of those ones that the picture is not clear, you know that it wasn't clear, you didn't clean the camera lens and all that. You will see that the interaction is different. Number two, like we said, if you engage, the platform lost traffic. Engaging means people are conversing, you get their attention. And when you get their attention, they see, oh, two people are commenting, let's share two more, isn't it? That's how it works, isn't it? If people are GC, it becomes interesting, everybody wants to put their mouth, like, hey, so what did she say? You know, that's how, and that's how you create that, you know, spinning effect. But don't go chasing after the algorithm, because sometimes it even becomes a nuisance. Like, there's some basic rules. People put like 20,000 hashtags. That's not required.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Not required. I think 2 to 5 hashtags is okay.
Probably if you can accept 50,
30 is too much, I think. Use hashtags that are relevant to your content. Maybe don't overuse some hashtags, because that's how you keep it fresh, you know. Don't overuse some hashtag. Make sure you engage. I think that is key for anything. Even though you don't even engage on your post, you can engage in other people's posts, because what you're doing, you're increasing your own visibility as well on the platform. Remember, the platform lost traffic, so that's you creating a footprint there. Now, when it comes to advertising, it's not necessary that you might advertise, because you notice that there's some posts. If you go, one way to do is also learn your own traffic. You know, some things you post that generate so much traffic.
Yeah, like dancing on Instagram. Yeah, I don't know how to dance on Instagram. I can't dance.
That's why you see some people even always want to go naked, because they feel like, okay, if I do this, people like. But you have to also define your strategy. What do you stand for? And consistency with time. There's no get quick thing on this. There's this whole get rich, get visible, get famous quick. If you notice, those that have really been able to sustain are those that have been consistent over time. Because what you've also done, you've created your own community. And that when is a no-brainer. You have your standard followers that, because they know you engage, or they know that at least if I come to our page, I'm either learning something, or there's something funny, or there's something that I probably haven't found out. You know, they know that I'll be inspired. So you have your own community. That is what your aim should be, especially for business owners, because your community is also what creates the engagement. There will be faithful ones that no matter what you post, even when they don't like it, they'll tell you, what happens today? These are our posts today, get come out, you will not respond. That is also engagement. Nothing is bad, in terms of you responding to something that didn't even come out well. I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out next time. But that community, that's how you make it, because that's how you get those followers, the ranking. When you don't have that and you buy them, and that's why those things are not really sustainable. So people will buy the followers, and so what happens tomorrow when you can't keep funding it? All that disappears. So, but the reality is that to get that, it takes time to build that community. So you must have defined what it is. What is your strategy? What are you known for? Like, I know that if I go to your platform, it's either anything to do with fashion, designing, what you're doing, what you're not doing.
the food I'm cooking.
Things, or things to do with food or cooking.
I'm always posting.
Exactly. So you have a consistent message. You don't have to define your strategy. So you're building your community that knows that, whenever we want to, if I want to learn to cook a new meal, I know where to go. If I want to figure out something about fashion, I know where to go. You created your own base. That is the base that is taking you up. Especially if you don't abuse it. Like, some people after a while, they're confused. Well, you can't be everywhere. Define what your space is and be consistent. And also stick to some basic rules. Like I will say, what I've always used is 2 for you, 1 for me. So 2 posts to make you happy, to educate you, to add value, to inspire, to motivate. 1 post about something I'm doing I think you should know. Maybe my book, or I'm speaking at an event and I want you. And I think that will also, because it's a give and take, isn't it? I'm giving you, and it responds, you want to, or because if you see that I'm doing an event, you want to check out her event or buy her book. but I'm also creating value. So those are the kind of ways you can do it. Then of course you can then layer in your adverts. Adverts, what it does for you is like anybody into business. It's just that you have to agree that if you want a larger space, you need to invest a little bit more to seek your audience. Now, what all these platforms have done, they've just they just created decentralized advertisement. Because traditionally, when I started my maternity retail, to go and put a jingle up in TV is 900,000 naira. They were asking me. Then I have to first of all
and then if I'm not watching the TV, that's it.
yeah, then I have to create the jingle, whatever. And this jingle, remember that after I've done it, I might not want to use it again. I'll create one for Easter, then one for Christmas, in between Valentine. You know, that's so much money. What these guys have done, they've made it so easy that you are even in control and you determine your spend. So those are the kind of things you can now go back to the basics, but you know you have to learn it as well. So you have to decide, okay, for Christmas, this is the post I want to use. Or New Year is coming, this is the post or the content I want to promote. And you decide how much you're going to promote. You don't have to spend 50K. You can spend as low as 500 naira, 1,000 naira. You can decide, but I think consistency is the game. Because if you do today, not that you then forget after 3 years you show up. But once you're consistent, even your followers, everybody knows that when we come, there's something fresh happening. That is important. You don't have to spend so much money. When I did I'll give you, my own was more out of necessity. So I rented this whole big, nice place on a Zumba, by the way. Spent a lot of money renovating everything. We started the retail chain. That month I started the retail chain, the government comes and cracks up with Zumba that they're trying to build the road, divert the entire traffic.
Oh, that was that when you shut down?
Yes, they don't say that the thing is going to be like a 2-year project. And I just started a business on that same road.
Wow.
So we were forced to, you have to look, that's my startup style, you know.
I didn't know.
So that's how I now move the business mostly online. So we're trying to find a way to pivot. And we realized that, okay, why don't we advertise online? And then find a way to deliver to people, because people couldn't come to the store anymore. The road was already gone. People didn't want to even pass that place. People were taking another road. So we started advertising online. But what I found out when we advertised online, people were making queries from Port Harcourt, Onitsha, Abuja, even the Lagos people, not as much. So we decided, okay, why don't we get a courier guy that can deliver any place? And we started doing that. And at some point, I found out I was getting 70% of my sales online. And that's how we...
People, can you hear? People, see them
70% of the sales were online.
I'm disappointed in all
the brick and mortar was just there for validation. So people know that this company is real. And there's some users that really feel they have to wear it first. Then they come. But after they come the first time, subsequent purchase, rebuys, they don't come. They will just order online. So those first time users, I feel like I have to go there. They come, but after that, nobody bothers coming. So that's what that brick and mortar was. Because initially our strategy was to go city by city and create brick and mortar. When we found out
that would have been expensive.
Yes, it was going to be expensive. It's still a lot of capital cost. But when we were finding that we were making so much online, there was no use. We didn't have to. And that's how we expanded. And before we knew it, we had gone to Cameroon, Ghana, because it was online sales. All you needed to do was have somewhere to warehouse your goods. And it made the expansion easy. So that's the value for doing that. But you also check, at that time, maybe if I have to spend 50K on a Facebook advert in a month and make 900K, what do you think?
I don't mind. I'll jump.
I don't mind. So, especially if you're not used to marketing, you'll be like, why would you have to spend all this money? You have to look at the return. I was looking at the value we were getting. Like, also, if we consistently spend this amount, we were generating so much traffic that after a while, remember that even after the post has expired, the advert, the post is still there, because anybody connected to anybody that liked the post, seen the post, commented to the post, still get to see the post months after the post existed. So the value was immense, and you could target the audience. When I ran the TV ads or the radio ads, I couldn't. The best I could do is that do it on prime time. When people are listening to the news, coming from home, after school or after work, I'll pay for prime time. But with these platforms, I can really target my audience. I want people within this age, within this location, to see it, this gender. So, and my product was niche, so it really worked. I actually learned a lot analyzing that data, advertising, because then that's when I realized that most of my sales were coming from men. The women will buy them. When a man wants to buy for his wife, he buys 10. He'll give me in all colors. That's what he will order.
People, are you listening?
Yeah,
Focus
most
on
of
the men.
my loyal clients were men. They were not price sensitive. The woman be like, aren't you doing promo? Can't you give me one for one? If I go to a job like I'll buy this as happened. The man doesn't, he said, are you going to deliver it to my wife? Okay, can I get 3 colors? Can we do? So we then understood that our real buyers were men. So we were actually targeting our adverts to them. Do you want to see your pregnant wife looking sexy and beautiful, even though she's pregnant? We will do that for you. Tell your story with the right orders. I wouldn't have known that using TV or radio ads. So we learned a lot really analyzing the data we were seeing.
This was from Facebook ads?
This was from Facebook ads. And that's when I knew that my market was actually outside Lagos. People in Lagos had options. People in Lagos had options because they have somebody traveling abroad or they can go to another store. People in Abuja, Onitsha, all those places that were bankers and still wanted to look good and were struggling, they couldn't come to Lagos, but I could come to them. And they became my target audience. So the value was immense. And you could, it's something you could control. Like when I didn't have money, we don't run the ads. And the way they've done it, this platform, they made it so easy that you don't have to crack your head too much. Even now, it's even more easy, especially if you use auto ads where they actually recommend to you. They can recommend audience. They can recommend time of day to run it.
Really? I didn't know that. When did they add that?
So there's what they call auto-generated ads. It's just like they can tell you that this post is generating so much engagement. We think you should boost it. Facebook is good at doing that. Yeah, they could recommend that. In terms of all your posts, this is the one getting a lot of engagement. We recommend that you boost it. So you don't have to advertise all of them. You can actually watch your post.
Is that if you do an A/B test? Sorry to cut you short. I'm just trying to, because me myself, I have another advert I want to run tonight on Facebook. I need to hear all these things very well.
So I told you to that Facebook adverts. So A/B tests are good because you're testing in terms of the way you run your ads, which one is more relevant to your target audience. It's almost like the same thing, but I will tell one language in every, or I'll position the picture in one way, or tell the story in 2 different ways. Then you find where the stickiness is. Where the stickiness is the one they will keep promoting. Okay. That's a good thing with A/B tests. But in terms of creating the ads, what I'm saying is that you should allow the algorithm to do the choices for you.
Oh, I see.
Some of those choices, they tell you that you have an option to do it manually, or the algorithm should do it. It's better the algorithm does it because the algorithm is learning from your audience. Okay. So they're learning where they show it, where it gets more traction is where they show it, and they show it to similar audience. You that is trying to manually do it, you don't have all that insight. So it's like you put it up with the post, this one didn't work, and you put up the other post. You're trying very hard to do it. So in terms of the basics, you do, but if there's any option where the algorithm is asking you that let's optimize, let them optimize, and Instagram does that as well. They can recommend audiences for you, target age and all that. If you have that option, let it be. Let it run its course. That is totally preferred, yeah.
Because I always thought maybe if they did that, maybe they just want to collect our money. Because I know Google does that as well. Like, they suggest, they call it dynamic ads. They call it dynamic ads and everything. So I always thought, they will always do something that will be more beneficial to them than to the person.
No, so some basic things. So the algorithm is basically AI. And what does AI do? AI collects data, looks at the data, and learns from the data. So the things that you have to allow the learning process happen, because it's putting your ad out there, looking at the data, the response, who is responding, how they are responding, when they're, is using that data to now really define where those ads should be. Okay. So it's that learning phase that sometimes people are not patient for the learning phase, because they're like, I've been running this ad now for 1 week, nothing is happening. This by eating my money.
Can be so depressing.
But it can be frustrating. But there is a learning phase for the algorithm because it's AI. That's how AI works. It has to learn. It learns from your data. But remember that after you've done it for a while, actually, it understands your business. So your learning phases probably will not be that longer. Initially, when you're just in the early you're just doing those ads in the beginning. There's a lot of learning happening. But after a while, the learning I don't think will be there because it already now understands people that buy your products or use your product or engage with your product are now this audience or this type. So what you might now be going for is that you want a lookalike audience. So not the people that like it, but people that would behave like the people that like. So that's lookalike. Somebody that would also behave like that. So they would not show to the lookalike, and that's how you can then expand it to other countries, however you want to do it. But the value is immense because if you did it alone, you would struggle. I would have all those insights I wouldn't have known. I was there chasing women, thinking that women are my target audience. Look for pregnant women. I didn't know that pregnant women just wanted to wear their husband's t-shirts and oversized shirts. They didn't want to spend money because in their head it's a 9 months project. Why should I go and buy all these fancy clothes? It's the men that are making effort to make the woman look good because they feel they have to project their wife in a good way.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I have one question. So most times, and this is I mean, I know the answer, but for the benefit of those listening, most times we find that we give to these companies, right? The question is, do they give back? And I don't mean giving back by showing our address to more people. Like sometimes you don't just want organic riches and people just commenting. We want raw cash. We want you to also give it to us. We want to, how do I monetize this thing? Like, how do I get paid for my content? If you get what I mean. I mean, I don't want to literally have to be asking my audience, oh, yeah, come and give me money. I know, like Instagram, for example, has monetization. But for the people listening, how do we pursue? Because I need to be sure that, for me, let me tell you, for me personally, I have a very short attention span. If I feel I'm not getting something beneficial from the content I'm giving, I'm going to burn out. Because sometimes, you want people to actually appreciate what you're doing and stuff like that. I mean, now we're online, so I know that people are seeing it. I mean, imagine if I was just talking to myself. That consistency you're talking about, I will throw it away. I'm going to look for where I'm going to make money. Yeah. So, that's the thing. How do these platforms reward us? And you can talk about whatever platform you feel. LinkedIn, you know how it rewarded you. You were doing, ads and then you got approached. But on Facebook, people will just chat you up. And so I'm not talking about
LinkedIn, I didn't even do
struggle.
ads, to be frank. I've never run an ad on LinkedIn. I've only run ads on Facebook and Instagram. I've never run an ad on LinkedIn.
But do I have to run an ad to be rewarded for my work? Like, if I dish out content regularly, can I not monetize those contents? Like, can Facebook not say, this person is,
You definitely can. But remember that right now the game is opt-in. So the bar has been raised. So in the early days of the platform, maybe even with like 2,000 followers, you would have gotten that kind of leverage to do that. But when you are not competing with people that have 9 million followers and you only have 2,000, so think like a business person who has more leverage. It's the 9 million follower. So because the bar has been raised, it has also raised that whole requirement of, but I know that these platforms do. Even before I started working with Facebook, I got vouchers from Facebook.
Really?
Because I was running ads to the point that they were now calling me.
Really?
They were actually calling me. Yes, I had account officers calling me, helping me now with the ads. It's just at some point I was not irritated because I felt like it's not too much. I don't want to be too technical with it. Because they would notice. Remember, like I told you, they need you on the platform as well. They need you to continue creating that kind of traction you're creating and keeping that community which you're building. So at some point they were reaching me. They gave me vouchers to use to run my ads. I was using the vouchers and running the ads. So if the bar has been raised, you know how it is. So there's still people that are getting that kind of value on the platform today.
Really?
Because of where yes. Because we have content creators of Instagram. There's the Black community, there's the Nigerian, and I know the Nigerian community is coming up because it notices those that are helping them keep the traffic going, and it is in your own, or this is in their own best interest to keep those people going. So consistency, I would say, is the game, because you might be like, oh, I'm not getting whatever, but remember that you are creating your own community and you're creating that value. It's just a matter of time, especially if you did it well. You are so valuable, people don't want you to leave. So people will find ways to incentivize you to keep you. So you have sometimes we have them, they come on, they do, Instagram does this creators live, Instagram live where they get creators because they need those creators to keep creating content on Instagram. And with the way it's going, it's coming localizing as well. So
Oh, I
I
see.
believe, as it's localizing, it starts to notice even more locals. First of all, you might do it like on a Black community, then you do it for Africa, then you drill down to Nigeria. And as it does that, people, especially people that have been consistent and creating value, will be noticed because they need them. They
Oh,
need them on the platform. So there are so many ways. There have been businesses that have even been invited for conferences, and they are even now taught and groomed to how to make their content better
they
and
should invite me
supported.
now. Why am I being? What do I need to do to be
So
invited to all these
that's what
things?
I'm saying. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't. It's like a woman that is 9 months that is pregnant and is like 7 months. And like, when is this baby coming out? When is this baby coming out? Maybe if she could just wait till she's 9 months, then the baby will come out.
But that one
But
is the
yeah,
primitive. That one we know that okay, after 9 months we will not go through the pain. Not the one that you will
but
be
that's
able that
how
you
these
just be
ones
happy to
are
see
now,
the baby.
because if you create that community, it's just a matter of time. It will be, we're talking about content creators on Instagram. Tomorrow we want to talk about entrepreneurs on Instagram, or next tomorrow we want to talk about people that promote diversity on Instagram. And next tomorrow we want to talk about people that promote thought leadership on Instagram. And that's how it goes.
Mm.
It's and I say this because I know that Africa is the new frontier.
Oh,
That's where growth is going to come from. Yes, because that's where the market is still untapped. Access doesn't still exist. So everybody's coming to fight. This is the new battleground. You understand? In most of these other continents, people already have access. If you want access, this is Africa you come to. That's where you only have 40% of the continent that's using internet. So there's still a huge gap. And there's a huge youth population. And it's youth population that use this kind of platforms. So this is the frontier.
but why did they?
So
When I left, I noticed that there was no Instagram shopping for us, for example, like Instagram shopping for, and I'm wondering, like, really, because it makes life so much easier if somebody can just click on my ad and
but
pay.
did
But
you notice that Nigeria now has Instagram shopping?
oh, it does. I didn't know that.
Yes, it's
But you
almost a
have to be
month
approved. The
now.
two times I've tried because
No, no,
I
no, now
wasn't
you
approved.
should have it. So what they've done a soft launch,
Okay.
and a couple of people have it, but I'm sure you should have it. Check.
I'll check. In fact, I'll check because I don't want to be very annoying saying, okay, click on
And there's
my
still a lot
profile
of
and then go
countries
to my
that don't
website.
have it. So be careful. Like, let's go back. There's still a lot of countries, even in Africa, that don't have it. But they
Mm,
know where the traffic is coming from.
because we
Remember that
buy things
Nigerians
now.
have access over 180 million people. That is where everybody wants to be.
I know, I
So you
can
have to
imagine.
understand your value. Don't sell yourself short too quickly.
I also remember that once upon a time, Facebook used to have if you have a blog article or something, I think maybe they pay you for those. I mean, I don't know. There was something they used to have then.
So I know what they wanted to do was there was this whole discussion about should they pay people that create news content.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there's a whole discussion around it, but I don't think it's not yet clear what the direction
Because I know
will
they
be
did
on
it
that.
then, but I don't know if they still do it.
But I think one of the things we should actually celebrate is that Facebook is now present in Lagos, in Nigeria.
Oh,
So
really? Where?
Facebook now has an office, yes, in VI.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it only started this year. So it's just to show you your value. Facebook only has two offices
So
in
what does the
Africa,
office do? What does the
South
office do?
Africa and the one in Nigeria.
But what does the office do though?
Quite a lot.
Or what are they
So
meant to
there's a
do?
call center right now, like I told you. So
Oh,
just like you are there, there's still some people
okay.
that have that kind of access to Facebook. Maybe also because of where those companies are spending. So somebody that is spending, I don't know, let's say ₦500,000 a month cannot be ranked with someone that's spending 5K a month. So 500K a month needs attention. If they have any problem, they want to be able to access somebody to solve the problem too. But Facebook now has an office, and it will do a couple of things from that Lagos office.
Okay,
So
that's
a lot
interesting.
will happen, and things will unfold with time. And
Mm,
that's because Facebook is really trying to be close to the continent and to the markets that are very key, like Nigeria. like we just said, that's like the most populous in Africa. If you're not there, where should you be?
I know, right?
The kind of traffic you would generate is immense.
Wow.
And one of the reasons is to create value, because you don't also want to be seen as just taking, you want to also create value. And the best way to create value is also to be present, you know. Just like when I travel and I go abroad and I buy a winter jacket for my grandmother, it's of no use to her. But if you live with your grandmother, you find out this woman doesn't want winter jacket. She wants deep heat for muscle pain. So, you know, to show relevance, you have to be there. Then you can understand what is relevant. Because for somebody else is relevant, for another person is not relevant. So, and I think we're going to see a lot of that value start to unfold. That's why I said, if a woman is 7 months pregnant, don't give up at 7, but just hang in there. 9 months is too. It's 2 months down the line. The pregnancy is going to, like they say, you can't hide it. The baby is going to come out. So yes, we're going to see more of that. So it's not going to be only Facebook. You see that come from TikTok. All these other platforms will actually show up. Unfortunately, Twitter had to go to Ghana, but
hey, Twitter is something that, apart from the fact that I'm not that visible, the Twitter streets, I don't know if I have the liver for all the firing. They're always firing each other because I get you.
So like you know, each of this platform has its own language or the best way to approach it. Twitter is always good if you can. If you're someone to throw a jab, make a complaint,
I know, right?
Or just be that inquisitive. But some people, but it can also be used for good. You know, it's just that some kind of traffic are more prominent in some platforms because of the way the platforms also promote traffic or the kind of traffic they promote. But it doesn't mean that Twitter cannot be used for good. There's a lot of good happening on Twitter, you know. But because of the limited use of language, so you cannot have more than how many characters. So people want to do a lot of shock, you know, something that will create that shock or attention in that short span. It doesn't mean that people cannot use it for good.
Wow. Awesome. So, the topic today was obviously, I mean, you've said a lot. Like, you said a lot. In fact, I really wanted to focus on that Facebook, which you did, because there were some things, because like I said, I have an advert I'm about to run. So I said, let me just come and get expo quickly for my advert. And, you know, I'm actually happy that we're talking about technology, because I've been talking about this whole, you know, be visible, get online, create a digital presence and stuff like that. And a lot of people
important.
It is, because a lot of people don't know how to go about it. When I started Instagram, I thought it was more of like it was a chore. I initially thought it was a chore, and I mean I'm going to use this opportunity to tell people that, look, how do I use Instagram? I just use Instagram to let off steam, because I mean in this day and that's what I use social media for. I use social media to let off steam, and it's good to be strategic. It's good to have a plan, but when you now kind of like overdo it, that all we see from you is just work. It becomes a little bit.
You have to be authentic, you know, because you're also human. If you're too serious, like nobody's perfect. So if you're only showing us your serious side, authenticity to show your true and your, you know, to show that you are different parts of the same person. So if you're only posting very serious things, you also might also lose your audience. So you strike a balance, you know. It doesn't mean, even though you inspire, but it doesn't mean you cannot have humor, you know. You can have humor. It doesn't mean you cannot make people laugh. Even though you teach and, you know, share insights, it doesn't mean once in a while you can't just have curiosity where you're just curious about basic life, or you're showing people other parts of your life, you know, the simple things in life. So because you're telling us, so people can tell when a story is authentic and when it's not. If everything is always staged, photoshopped, perfect, then probably it's not that real.
Please, Photoshop. I must look fabulous. Please. You can't be saying one massive spot here or another massive spot. No. We don't want that. We want to look pristine and all. And I know there's this huge, you know, talk about people being not authentic because they always use filters and everything. But you see, that's their story. It's up to you to decide if this is how I look or how I look. Why make up in the first place if it's not to look the way I shouldn't look? You understand where I'm coming from? I have one last question. I know I'm very conscious of time, because I know you have to go back to homework, but I have one question, especially since you were in the fashion field. Now you're sitting down, you're looking at what people are doing, like fashion designers, and there's a reason I'm asking this, right? what mistakes, because a lot of people are online because at the end of the day, the bottom line is to make sales, right? Whether we like it or not, is to make a sale or to get a connection or something. A lot of fashion designers say they do not see, at least people I've spoken to, they do not see the relevance, except they post ads. They really don't see how relevant organic growth is for sales directly. They see how organic is good for content, but not for sales. So the question is, as an outsider looking in, apart from the obvious pictures that people, post and everything, what else could they do to those creatives to actually, make a sale? I don't know if you get my question.
So I think I get your question. So this is what I'm going to say, that I never, in all our discussion, I kept talking about creating value. Every fashion designer is a brand. What you really want is for people to know your brand. You tell your story so that people know your brand. It's not all about sale. So I told you I renovated my house and I shopped. All those people, what they were doing, were telling stories of their brand. And that's the entirety of their brand. Today, this brand is teaching us about how to put up a good look for the office, how to put up a good look for a party. Tomorrow, the brand is teaching us about how to match colors. But on the third day, the brand is telling us, oh, we have a new fresh collection for Christmas, come back. And maybe on the other day, the brand is telling us about funny things they found on the street. Your brand, the best way I can tell you to do this is that use social media as a platform to tell your brand story. Get your users connected to your brand. That's what you want. And after that, sales will follow. Don't be too focused on a brand, because if you want to build a community, you want to connect. To connect is to tell a story. So I can say that when I think about your brand, because there's some certain brands, you call the name, I can tell you what it represents for me. And that's really what you want to do. And that's how you get your organic sales. Now, the problem is that probably you want to get sales immediately.
Yes, so
you can do that and run your ads and all that. But I think ultimately I will be driven to build a community, because what you want is customers that come back again and again. And think about it, for a customer to purchase means that probably sometimes I've been watching you. There's some people I only buy their things after watching it for almost 6-7 months. All that time of observing me doesn't mean that I don't want it. There could be different reasons I can't buy it. I remember there's a brand I follow. The day I shopped on their shop, they were shocked, because I've always earmarked them that if I ever had to do this thing, it's this brand I want to. And for various reasons. It could be because I connect to something that brand is doing, even way beyond the actual, basic sale they're doing. Either because of the way because some brands a brand has a 360 delivery, isn't it? About the product you're selling, there's also other things about the brand. Maybe the brand has empathy for the poor, is promoting young girls, or is pushing diversity, or is helping poor people, or is an activist when it comes to government. Your users are connected to something more than just your product. And that's what we talk about brand. It's more than just the product. And it's from all those things that create the entirety of your brand. And that's what sometimes that's why people shop. It's not because sometimes I buy the things and give to others, not because I really want to, but because I'm so connected to that brand. I want to support and associate myself with that brand. So when I say, okay, give me 10 copies of it, I cannot finish 10 copies of it. I'm just one human being. But it's my own way of supporting this brand who I so love. But most importantly, what you want is people that will promote your brand. And sometimes you only need one of them. So there are some people that are natural connectors. Now your job is to even get just one. And I keep telling people that you don't need too many. One. I have one person that becomes your own marketer. Tells every other person, he's talking about, even way long after you have even sold to them or they have used the product or the service. And that's why it's important that you position your brand and tell your brand story. You're looking for those connectors.
So our hour is up. I want to ask you this question is for me. How is your book doing on Amazon? How is that doing? Because I know are you on Kindle or just on Amazon or which one? I don't even know the difference. I
So,
know there's Amazon, there's Kindle.
so it's all Amazon. So Kindle is the ebook version.
Yeah, the ebook.
If you have the
I got a
Kindle
gift of the
divider,
Kindle just 2 weeks ago, so I've
yes.
started using it. So, but I know
Then
you launched on was it Kindle or just a normal
I launched
ebook?
it on Kindle. I launched it on Amazon. So I launched it on Kindle first. So the ebook came out first. Then I did the paperback and the hard copy. And they're doing really well because even they're still selling. And
Wow.
it's so funny that most of my sales come from outside there. I sold the book most outside Nigeria than in Nigeria. And that's the beauty of what we're talking about, is that the world is now, it's catch 22. So the world is now your audience, but it means the bar has been raised in terms of the quality of the work. Remember that you are now competing with people that are also doing similar in other parts of the world. So just don't think local, act global.
Did you optimize the page or did you just launch it and hope people would find it?
No, I did. So I had a whole launch plan for it. So it was literally a project on its own to launch that book on Kindle. So I had a whole launch plan for it. And even as perfect as the launch plan was, on the day of launch, that was the day I found out that Kindle was not available in Nigeria. We don't have the right. So if you're Nigerian, you can actually download the Kindle books.
Even till now?
I don't know about now, but at least in 2019 it wasn't. 2019, 2020 it wasn't.
Oh wow. Why do they just discriminate against us? I don't understand. We have the money to spend. Well, I think we have the money to spend. But
we need to position ourselves with the right policies to also get, because so actually people in Ghana could buy my book and people in Nigeria could not buy my book. So at the end of the day, I had more people buying my book outside Nigeria than in Nigeria. But that's that's why you have to pivot. You have to learn as an entrepreneur. You keep moving. You don't let this thing set you back. But it also made the world my platform because I was now focused on having my book sold in every other country of this world until I was ready with the paperback and the hard copy, because then I could sell it in Nigeria.
So how many countries do you sell to? Or have you sold to?
Well, I've sold to probably more than 10 because Amazon puts it everywhere that is possible.
Oh, wow.
So we put it on every country that is possible. So my book has gone to Australia, India, US, UK, Ireland. Sometimes I don't even know some of the countries. It's when I go and check on the platform, I'm like, wow, somebody bought my book from there. Because
how do you do fulfillment from where you are? The physical copy, how do you do fulfillment?
So I also buy like a user, because remember that Amazon is now publishing and retailing my books. So not like I'm the one doing it.
Oh,
but because I'm the author, I can purchase it as the author, which is at cost. So that's, if I want to do that, I can do that. Or most cases, because really, how many copies of my book can I read? So I actually tell people to just purchase directly. So for my speaking engagements, people then purchase, because that's normally what I would require, that you purchase a certain volume of the book for the speaking engagement.
Oh, so somebody was asking what the title of the book was. What's the title of the book?
Oh, be fearless, be fearless. Give yourself permission to be fearless. Yes, that's the title of the book. But Amazon has made it so what these platforms are doing, they're making those things that used to be so difficult. Before, to publish a book, you have to go to Book2 here, and now they've made it so easy that if you publish the ebook, you can turn it to a paperback, get the ISBN number, make sure you have the right fonts, because you need the right graphics for your paperback. They use their own publishers and publish it. You can also require for a prototype for yourself. Because I remember I did it all the way from Nigeria. I didn't go anywhere.
Somebody in Nigeria gave me 1 point something for my ebook. I'm like, me, I don't have 1 point something to go and spend on the book to print. When I saw the bill, I said, hey, please hold yourself.
But okay, so let's talk about the catch. So the difference is that depending on how you publish it on Amazon, remember that they're going to take royalty. So the person that is giving you 1 point something that you will print and take the books and go and sell, he has no cut when you're selling it. In the case of Amazon, is that Amazon has a cut each time your book is sold.
Which is
so
fine.
Let's remember that
we all pay commission now. Even on Jumia and Konga, if my clothes are on Jumia and Konga sells it, I will pay them commission now.
Yeah, so if you're fine with that, and I think it's fair because you're printing the book for whatever, you're printing, you're delivering. But more than you're printing and delivering, you're creating my audience.
Exactly.
Because you're making my book accessible anywhere. Like literally anybody can buy it.
Exactly.
Anywhere you tell me in the world you are, if you can get Amazon delivered to you, then the book can be delivered. So I don't mind if Amazon has to take a royalty for that. It's fine. Just give me my own share at the end of the day. And that's
Jane, oh, it is
the
so fabulous. Like I said, I would have continued this, but I know our daughter is waiting for you to come and finish maths time.
Yeah, and I hope I answered all the questions because someone really wanted me to answer that LinkedIn question
please,
about
did you
LinkedIn
answer
and
it? Did you answer
businesses.
it?
I think I did. I hope the bangers. I hope I answered your question because she wanted to know about entrepreneurs and even people trying to change up on LinkedIn, and I was trying to explain to her that that's why I was trying to be very detailed with my response to you that these platforms can be used. Like I sit on like Business Mentor where we review startups. We go there to validate some of the startups.
Is it on as Facebook or just like another organization?
No, another so something I do, working with the startup community. But even Facebook, sometimes remember that sometimes Facebook also does acquisitions and all that. It's all part of due diligence. People are looking for your footprint to really understand like how long has your business been running, when they were running, how did they start, what were they doing. People are really using these platforms to validate a lot. So if you're thinking of if you're a business person, especially if you have a bit of an idea what you want your brand or company to be known for, just make sure you position them like that on the platform. That's one of the key things. So don't give us a different picture. If you are a brand that is into fashion designing, and when you shop on LinkedIn, don't shop on LinkedIn as someone that all they do is lack of a better word, I don't want to say some things. You are resharing nude pictures of, I don't know, young ladies, something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Stick to your brand story. I know initially when you do that, you'll be worried that you're not getting a lot of followers. I don't think that is the job. The followers will come if you're consistent and you're doing some of those things. So like we're saying, the quality of the content that you are engaging, making sure that you're putting relevant things out there. It's like building a community. Remember, and like I tell, like we're saying, sometimes you need just one connector. Then boom, it becomes a role. Like before you know it, one day, some people like they will tease like one day somebody likes their page or makes a comment and the next day they wake up 2,000 followers. Sometimes that's also what is also important. But once you build that community, that is how you have redefined it. Even the platform notices and they will not let go of you because they need you and your community as well.
Because I know that's one thing I know. I mean, just today, or was it yesterday? I saw that someone that was a human resources expert with a retail company checked out my profile, and I was like, interesting, like okay.
People are looking for ways to collaborate from all over the world. Maybe they want to collaborate with you to do a training on LinkedIn. Maybe they want to collaborate with you for a speaking engagement. Maybe they are seeking advice as a startup that is expanding or a business that is trying to acquire and they feel your expertise is important. Or maybe they even need you for an award and they've been saying there's all kinds of things going on, people. So don't sell yourself short. Let's don't be left behind because I'd rather we be at the driver's seat and you control the narrative than you're hearing what people are saying. There's sometimes out of jealousy, you'll be like, man, who says so? It's not true. But if you're there creating the value, then you can actually, you can be in charge of the narrative about what people think about Black businesses or Nigerian businesses. Because it's not everybody that is in Nigeria that is 419, like, as opposed to what people, they are very smart, educated, intelligent, and like all kinds of elegant, interesting people in the country. It's only when we stand up that people will see us. If we hide behind the shadows of the ones that are creating the trouble, then nobody knows that there's much more than that.
And then we keep beefing and everything. And now everybody just wants to, post something that's viral that, 1,000 people will see and just be laughing and everything, which is good sometimes. But at the end of the day, if it's counterproductive, I remember when a long time ago, I was using IFTTT. So anything I post on Instagram gets automatically on LinkedIn and everything. So I was always posting what I ordered versus what I got. Not now that we turned it into an educational thing. I would just post it and I would just laugh about it. Until a friend of mine that was in KPMG was like, "How these your posts now? Wow." I didn't realize that, oh my goodness, LinkedIn probably doesn't even like that kind of thing because, at the end of the day, you're even making, Nigerian designers look bad, and LinkedIn is more professional. So on Instagram, it's okay. And even now, I don't just post what I ordered versus what I got. I try to make it into a learning point because there are people that are watching
and that is when you're creating value because you're using it as a teaching moment.
Yes.
You're not doing it just for the fun of let's laugh at these people. You're saying, let me teach you how we can make this better. I want you to know what the mistakes are so you don't have to do them.
Yeah.
And that's so important.
Jane, I wish I could hug you.
I'll give you a virtual hug. And to all those that joined us, it was really fun seeing everybody from, Caroline, New York. Oh, she said, I love the virtual idea. All of you, thank you. The bangers, I really thank you. Lots of people joined, so it was really fun.
Yeah,
hanging out with all of you.
When you're looking at, you see just 34 people watching, but anytime I stop it and I want to post it, I'll just see like 200 and something views. I'll be like, I even saw my sister-in-law, Catherine. I don't know if you're still around, but if you are, I didn't want to cut you short. That was why. Hi. I'm saying hi. I'm so happy that you joined us.
Tony, there's so many people that join. I think we're so grateful to have you guys. It's always fun. But that's the power of technology. And that's why I really talk about it, because I feel sometimes when we don't understand something, when people are, and they will not say that they don't understand, that they're scared because they don't know, then you speak ill or bad of it. But I think if you're curious, you want to learn. And if you want to learn, then you can use it for good. That's what we should do. Change that narrative of like, oh, it's bad, is it? Because you don't understand, it's like a black hole to you. Why don't you switch the perspective? Like, let me understand this better. Then you can use it for good. And there's so much good happening on the platform.
There really is. Happy, amazing milestone birthday to your husband.
Thank you. And I want to say, keep up the good work, because I'm always following you. And is it nothing more? I like the food that you post and all the things you teach us about fashion and designing. It's really good. Because even for, I think one of the things I like about the way you position it, even for a novice or someone that's not, you make it simple. So you teach those complex things in simple ways, so everybody can understand the basics.
Thank you. Please beg your daughter on our behalf that please, you should not be obsessed with us.
Like my daughter is like a little man. I keep asking myself, I'm not like that. Where did she get all that from? She's like a little madam in this house.
Man, these days you have to be on your best behavior when you are dealing, because sometimes they will even ask you some questions and you just be afraid. I remember when my niece, my husband was telling me that my niece asked, he took them out and they asked him, why is the taxi yellow? And he said he had never really thought about that answer, but you have to turn up and
actually, I'm learning from them. And you know how you talk about being authentic? Now you learn. Like I'll tell my daughter, go and take your bath, and she's like, "Oh, mom, you haven't taken your bath the whole day." So I told my husband, I was taking my bath. She's like, "What?" I said, "I'm taking my bath because after this, I'm going to go and tell my sister to take her bath because she's going to ask me." Oh my God. So it's just something else. But I think they're also teaching us to be accountable, because now I'm learning that if you're going to tell your son water directly from the bottle, then you better not be caught drinking water from the bottle. Even the wine, I can remember one of my nannies used to have a problem with my son, and it was basic things like she was upset with my son that he gave her something with the left hand, which is very cultural, but because he was young at 6, he doesn't understand. He was asking her from a curious perspective, what is wrong with the left hand? She said, the left hand is bad. He said, but left hand, but I eat with it. I do, like, what's wrong with my left hand? And he was just curious. But in her head, she's like, what is wrong with you? Stop questioning me. So, you have to be willing to really have this engagement, because they are so curious. And we had to explain to him, there's nothing wrong with your left hand, but in a cultural connotation, people in the past have believed that left hand could be used to do the dirty job. So when you're trying to give someone culturally, they will want you to use the right hand because you normally not use it for a dirty job. So there's nothing wrong with your left hand. So
No,
sometimes
and
it's
that's
just
also from the
explain to
perspective of
them.
people thinking left hand is a problem because my husband writes with his left hand. In fact, that's one of the things I told
Yeah.
him
So you have
is,
all that, nuances that because they're also like a blank sheet, they don't know. You almost have to explain. But sometimes, because culturally we are used to making sure people don't question, especially younger people, we do not accommodate those kind of learnings. Like people are not meant to question. If you're told don't do this, don't even question, don't ask. And these kids are asking.
yeah,
So if we're saying that we want to answer, you have to be willing to answer everything.
very
Both
true.
a letter of resignation and all.
When I saw that, I just started laughing. Like she resigned from washing plates, and I don't understand.
She said she wants to do laundry because she thinks laundry is easy. So she said she wants to change
And I
her
could not
job.
put it in the microwave in the washing machine now, and then the washing machine will do the work.
And yeah, so in her mind, it's like, oh, you just throw everything in the washing machine to do the work and you bring it out. Plates, you have to wash them. No, that's not. So let me go for washing machine. Yeah.
Oh, Jenny, it was awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you,
Same
thank you,
here,
thank you
same here,
so, so,
same
so,
here.
so much. So I'll be posting more HelloFresh recipes. I have plenty that I have cooked that I have not posted. And
I'm
I
watching
got your
your
feedback.
journey.
What was your feedback? You
Amazing.
can see that the next food I posted was redder. The jollof rice was red.
So don't be shocked. HelloFresh one day will come to you and say, "Do you want to be an ambassador or want you to be involved in some one of their?" Because that's how it works. People, brands also online are also looking for people that are representing them in a good way or attached to their brand in a positive way, and they also want to promote that.
Well, I hope so because I've actually quite a few people that I know have actually started using HelloFresh just from seeing my food. They've been sending me pictures in camera. I said, come,
Even
where
if
is
they don't use it,
Amadi?
at least now they know HelloFresh. There's something about just creating that awareness for the brand. And lots of people didn't know HelloFresh, especially your audience, which probably has never really been an audience maybe they've been able to tap into. And that's where you created value. So don't sell yourself short. So that's what you've done for them. You created
That's
an awareness and extended their market audience.
she. Let me leave you. Let me leave because I know it's a bit late.
Thank you.
So
Thank
thank
you.
you
It was
so
really
much.
nice.
Thank you. I'm gonna repost this thing. If you feel it's I'll just send you the link. I know I've done like three and I was meant to send it, but it takes so long to download and everything. So when it downloads, it's a little bit heavy. I will upload it on Google and just send you the link, and then you can
Okay.
use it for whatever you want to use it to if you choose to use it. Mwah!
Thank you.
Mwah!
Have a good evening.
And you as well. Thank you. Thank
Okay
you
then.
everyone
Bye
for joining.
bye.
So I'm going to post this again. Thank you. Join us next week, please. I have an amazing person next week as well for our tech
Okay.
month. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have an awesome weekend. Awesome,
Thank
awesome. Cheers, everyone. People. So we have learned. We have learned. We have learned. Next week I've confirmed our tech person who is going to join us. Yes, let me give you announcements. I have just finished writing, or should I say rewriting, the third edition of what's it called? Of my book, Easy Guide to Costing and Pricing. And I really didn't want to do it because I'd already done bill to bill. But I now did from 20 pages of my Easy Guide to Costing and Pricing. I did a 100-page ebook live. And because of that 100-page ebook, all those bill to bill things are going to go up because now you have, before I didn't have an option of ebook, but now I have an option of an ebook. I have an option of an online course, which I have done. Oh my goodness, this my eyelashes look so nice. So I'm looking at my eyeshadow and everything. It's looking very fine. Anyway, before I get carried away by the way I look. Anyway, so I've finished the ebook. It's now, it's really detailed. So it's now like, I think it's 100 pages. After a while, Canva just said I could not do anymore because I wanted to keep writing. So I stuck with 100 pages. So it's 100 pages. I have the online course as well for costing and pricing. And then I now have the bill to bill. And then I also now have the bill to bill webinar. So I'm going to rework the website. So if you want bill to bill at the old price, buy it now before it goes. Is the hair, Abby? Thank you. You, Selassie, you are a very fabulous person. I am watching you from afar. All those, your music and your hair and everything, you see, that your blonde hair. I used to have blonde hair before, but anyway, before I digress. If you want bill to bill at the old price, please go and buy it now. Because by the time I finish posting everything on the book and finish doing my Facebook ads and finish doing everything, the pricing is going to change and bill to bill will go up. And I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm just telling you it's a fact, because at least you heard Karen Bani abusing me the other day that it is very cheap. And my KPM difference have abused me from now to next year that it is very cheap. So I will go and work on it and put it online. And then as soon as the price changes, it's going to stick at that price. So thank you for joining me next week. Like I said, I have someone that's doing, go and buy it now. All of you, go and buy it now. I'm telling you, because it will definitely change and it's going to be like double or something, or yeah, something like that, because it took me a very long time to build, to create it. And the reason the price is at that price now is because I haven't even done adverts. And you know, costing and pricing is very important. By the time I start doing adverts, I have to find a way to pay for the money to pay for the advert. So that's why the price will go up. I'm not just increasing the price just for the sake of giveaway. You, Alex, giveaway. Come and give me a dress. That your black and white thing that you sent me yesterday. Go, if I can look as fabulous as CC does, please, you need to make me look fabulous. You need, in fact, we need to do a live with your mom and twin students. So, Alex, we shall be talking in camera. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I think by maybe this weekend, I will launch it. Like I said, I've finished writing the book. I think I just need to do the table of contents and put the page numbers, and then I've done the landing page already and measurements. Do I even know what my measurement is? I think I've gained weight too. I was looking at myself today and I was like, hey, God, this one that I'm just eating anyhow, please, I cannot, and I have to now walk 20,000 steps just to be losing weight. Anyway, I am rambling again. Let me shut this down. I will see you next week. Next week is when? Next week, Thursday at 8 o'clock. I have another tech person. Then I've lined up like 2 more tech people for till the end of the month. And I think this tech will actually spill over into June. And that is because I feel technology is very, very important. I feel the world has moved beyond brick and mortar. I mean, there's someone I was talking to yesterday who I confirmed for June, who told me her sales increased by 800% during COVID. And it was all online. I have been watching Shark Tank and binging on Shark Tank, and a lot of people that come online have made millions of dollars just from their online sales. So please go and create an online presence for yourself. Get on the internet, use social media very well, use Google very well. You need to, a lot of people that reach out to me saying, oh, I need to increase sales. And the first question I ask you is, do you have a digital presence? Because, you know, it has made, like Jane was saying, it has made life so much easier. You know, you don't have to spend so much money on adverts. You can, you can do less than 1,000 naira a day. You can even do 500 bucks a day. Do you understand? But you have to be willing to invest in these things, as against just looking for freebies and stuff like that. I'm not saying freebies are not good, but please just go and pay someone to learn the knowledge, pay the person, know how to do it. I did it, and that's why Facebook adverts now became more beneficial for me. So, I need to go and relax, sleep, get something to eat. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone. And please, I'm going to post this thing now. Please tag people. I beg of you. Tag people. And please do me a favor. Anybody that is watching, go and like my YouTube page. I beg of you, so that I will have more people watching this thing from all over. I want to create a digital presence. So I'm begging you, unabashedly begging you. All right, then. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome weekend. I'll see you next week at 8 p.m. Bye-bye.